face that same challenge, or as similar as it can be, and use those tools. I did pop the studio light back on above me just to try to even out the light. It felt a little strange for a minute. But so that's where this example is coming from, that kind of environment. And they were talking about their experience over the years in rooms like that as their travels and family and work life had moved them around the country and things like that. But if you have this visual that in any place you go, for the deepest, darkest battle you have ever fought in your life, that there's a group of people that have had a similar fight and similar experience to you. And in that group of people, you hear a message that says, regardless of our social station in life, if you've made it from the experience of your days that led you to this one, and you crossed this threshold, and you're seated at this table, and you say you belong here, you matter. We all matter. You have just as much right to a seat on this lifeboat as I do. And so let's start there. Let's start. This is where I'd like to start. I'm going to start, and I'm going to invite you to do the same. I'm going to start asking you to do some things. I'm going to suggest you do some things. You got to shape them to you. I don't want to control what you do. I want to help share what I've spent 50 odd years of my life doing wrong and thought I was charging the right way. If it can help you adjust your course to find your correct path of greatness and what your unique and special gifts are that none of the rest of us do, that's what I want to help you do. Please don't hear anything I'm saying as Dan telling you what to do. That is not the message I'm going to convey. Not at all. But that point I'm not going to let go of is either we all matter or none of us matter. All of us matter or none of us matter. Man, I let that soak on me for a long time, and it just echoes. All of us matter or none of us matter. You want to say that out loud with me? All of us matter or none of us matter. Some other things that'll be changing as we're doing these videos. I'm going to trust that you're a smart enough consumer that you'll see the name of the video. You'll hear the color. I'll talk about colors, whatever. If you want paints and if you want to get them from me, they will be the Bob Ross materials for sale as they are today and have been for a couple of years now in the supplies section of danwillcoxart.com. Yes, there are links from the YouTube channel. It is so simple to order. If you have any questions, we're glad to help. No more complication about materials being used. I want you to watch the painting. I want us to have a conversation. I'm going to share with you what's on my heart about man life experiences, changes in oldest son's college football path are ongoing, and just an exceptional experience this past weekend for him up in Mississippi. But let's paint. It's nighttime. It's actually past my bedtime. Those studio lights are scheduled on my app to go off, turn off, at 9 p.m. So I've already got liquid white on the canvas. I told you it's a new day. We're doing things different. In honor of a friend of mine, if you've been a watcher of videos for a while of ours, You may have seen me do a version of this before. You may have heard me talk about my friend Tim before, but the beauty of serendipity and the beauty of just being a friend. Man, those are special, special things. And Tim's life was taken from him at the hands of his husband. And jury selection started here in our local area today for that trial. Strictly a coincidence. But Tim is one of those people who was one of the first faces I remember seeing in that lifeboat I'm describing to you. In January of 2022, I believe. And he was instantly just a special, special person to me. Just a person who could just be there. Sometimes with a great smart aleck comment or the right thing to say, but oftentimes to just be. So purple is his favorite color. And we're going to paint Purple Splendor. So that's the instruction you're going to get, and I'm going to dive in and paint, and we're going to just kind of talk about things as they come. Man, what do you think about that? We all matter or none of us matter. Stuff like that is deep, man. You got to be ready to wander off the well-beaten path into the woods with questions for yourself like that. At least I do. I mean, man, all of us matter or none of us matter. Because if we're going to talk about hard conversations that we very well may disagree on, we had better be able to find a way to at least be facing the same direction for the conversation. I mean, let's go for a walk. Let's not sit across a battlefield before we have a conversation. I mean, how about this? You know, you're going to make certain assumptions about me based on my age, based on the color of my skin, based on the bathroom I use, based on all of these things. And that's fine. I think that's human nature. I think we are pretty adept at assessing the situation we find ourselves in as a natural defense mechanism. Fight or flight. What's happening here? What, if anything, do I need to be doing? So, that, you know, here's what I'd like us to be able to assume. For this walk, I don't want you to have to agree with me. I don't want you to have to give up any of your deeply held convictions and beliefs. Not at all. Here's what I think is reasonable for both of us, at least what I would like to start. As simple as, you know, I've heard in sales and all kinds of sports analogy over the years, different things, but starting with the simple basics, as absurd as it may sound, is often exactly what I need to do because I overcomplicate things like crazy. So what is it that I'm talking about? What would I like to assume? Well, what if we just the one thing, what if we just assume What? Here's all I can offer you. I am asking you to believe, at least for a moment, for us to exchange information, that I do not hate you. Nothing more, nothing less. I already believe that we all matter. So that means, to me, you have inherent value as a person, as a part of creation, as a fellow traveler on this rock. There are tons of things that make us very, very similar and almost identical in the grand scheme of things. But there are things that you are capable of and specifically wired to do that only, of all the billions of us on this planet, only you can do. I want to know what that is. What makes you tick? I don't know. It's not the same thing for me. It's not supposed to be. So I want to start with the assumption and deep belief, way more than an assumption. I believe we all matter. And I do not hate you. I absolutely will disagree with you because we are different. I don't agree 100% with myself. I disagree with myself daily. So, and I'm okay with that. I can only know the experiences I've lived. The only shoes I've walked in are mine. If we can't have a dialogue in a way that you can share with me your experience, how could I possibly ever understand it? I'm not that smart. You could write it, but I'm not that good a reader and reader comprehender. I need to hear your story. I need the inflection in your voice. I need to see it on your face. I want to be able to feel what gets you fired up. The way my insides feel when my paintbrush touches a canvas, I'm not telling you that's what you have to do. I just want you to find that feeling. Not necessarily the same feeling, but what, all right. The only way I know how to describe it, it's like a full body hard on. It's just like, it's good. It's just, you're ready. You're ready. You're alive. You're man with, So that's where I'm going to be. That's where I'm going to be. And yes, Purple Splendor has a beautiful amount of snow, and we'll probably put some water things in here so color goes down here. See, it's going to be hard for me to take off my teaching hat, but it is important that you heard me on my disclaimer part, because we are going to be sharing some opinions. Dan, they are the opinions of Dan and not those of BRI corporately. I am not wearing my teacher hat. I am a dude that hosts a YouTube channel. I learned to paint in July of 2020 and fell in love with it. And so I'm sharing it with you. And I am tired of not being involved in the conversation, because when evil things occur, evil can only triumph if good people do nothing. Well, right back to we all matter or none of us matter. I believe the vast, vast majority of all people are good. We just get silenced. Well, let's just take back some of that real estate, folks. Let's have these open dialogues. You know, I'm a pretty conservative person. Let's take one head on. If you really think, as a 51-year-old dude, I even remotely care who or what you choose to do as a consenting adult behind a closed door with another consenting adult, you are sadly misunderstanding what I do with my free time. I got enough challenges trying to worry about my own sex life. Thank you very much. I don't care what you're doing. I don't have to agree with it. I really would prefer not to see it. I would love for that to be a special, private, beautifully fulfilling part of your life. You don't need my permission. What? Why do you care if I even care? Because it never crosses my mind what someone else's opinion of what I choose to do in that private part of my life. I need neither your permission, your blessing, your knowledge, your involvement. You be you. Is it okay with you if I have the same courtesy from you? Because if you're screaming names at me, but you haven't had a conversation with me to understand, I don't want to tell you what to do. Do I have an opinion of what I do believe is correct? Well, that to me, that's a different conversation, isn't it? I mean, gracious sakes, everybody has an opinion about different things. To say you don't is just a little. But I don't want you, I'm not trying to sell you my opinion. I would have a discussion with you about it. It's not an argument. It's not something I would be convincing you about. I'd be happy to listen if you're willing to treat me like an adult and have a conversation with me, a mature one. But again, I want you to feel 100% in the bucket with me that we all matter if we're going to have an adult conversation like that, because I will look you straight in the eye and tell you, I don't care what you do. I won't lose a wink of sleep over it. You need neither my blessing, my permission, and I hope you find that very freeing. I do. I don't want to carry the weight of anybody else's choices. I've messed up enough of my own. I don't want the responsibility of messing somebody else's up. No way. No way. You know, one thing I did several years ago, before we moved from just 20 minutes down the street to here in Ocala now, I stopped consuming any news. I do not watch news on television. I do not read it online. I get snippets of it from time to time on the radio, but I'm very careful about what radio station I am on when the news comes on. I treasure my own thoughts too much. I don't want to be part of being programmed on what to think, because the further away I have gotten from listening to any robot, alphabet soup, hysterical soap operas, God, if you listen to any of them, all of them, every single person in DC and including at every television station should be in prison for all kinds of heinous crimes. So who do you believe? I mean, where does it stop? Who's going to hell first, I mean, same question. Let's start at the beginning. Do we all matter, or do none of us matter? Are there bad characters and people with ill intentions? Yeah, of course. Am I some idiot utopia pie in the sky? No, I'm pretty real, I think. Try to be. Is every single person as nefarious and horrible and, I don't think so. I don't think so. I've lived in Florida so long, there's such a diversity of people from all over the world here. When you live in an area that the differences amongst people over relatively trivial matters, tints of the outside layer of our earth suits and which genitals we arrived at birth with. Again, it's just craziness. Gosh, we just let ourselves get pushed into these corners. And, I really believe if you took the crazy extremes of what has happened to our political environment in this country, if you just call some common sense things what they are, let's just talk about it. And without emotion, without wagging fingers, if you had to choose a side of the political spectrum that says, remove any mention of God and faith from government and replace that with absolute reliance on a government program and the politician to cure all your woes, you would have to be willing to say that leans to at least one side of the political spectrum. Does that mean the other side is all right and correct and has it all now? No, of course not. Give me a break, folks. We're all people. We're all flawed. But I go back to number one. We all matter. So let's extrapolate that through a few things. What am I talking about? Yeah, you're getting there. I hope you are. But I hope your ears are open and hearing the heart I'm telling you with. Folks, let's talk about people for a second. Let's start with the basics. If we all matter, then the termination of the very beginning of a human life cannot be the day after choice for a consequence of your choice. I'm an alcoholic. If I chose to drink and I got behind the wheel of my car, which I did many, many times, thankfully, I never struck someone or was in a wreck, because had I done that and killed that person, guess what I couldn't do the next morning? I cannot abort that decision. There are consequences to actions. Folks, it's been a long time since I've been in school, but when I was in school, they taught us that if a male and a female have sexual intercourse, that is how you procreate our human species. I hope that's still taught in school, because that seems like valuable get-by knowledge. I mean, as you're becoming a young adult, as a high school person, and your body's going crazy and certain things feel really great and exciting, that's valuable information to know, that you need to be able to either address those urges in a healthy way, or should you be making choices that you're going to be really acting as an adult, there are other choices to employ so that the consequence of your choice you address ahead of time, not after the fact. You don't get to unspill the milk, so to speak. I couldn't do it had I killed someone driving a car. If two people have sex and there's a pregnancy, that choice has been made. How is this still a discussion, folks? We all matter, or none of us matter. I mean, don't call me a hater. Don't come at me with these ridiculous statistics that you're regurgitating from bullet points on your talking heads news show. Folks, I have a minor in criminology. I studied under one of the most brilliant criminology minds at Florida State University. You're going to come at that discussion with things about rape and incest. Folks, study the numbers. It's disingenuous. It's insulting to the very people who have suffered such a tragedy. And if you have not worked hand in hand with them for support and have experience and speak on such a matter, I'd invite you to sit by me, because I'll be the guy over here sitting with my mouth closed. So, man, I just want to paint. May not have a lot more to say tonight, I don't know. But man, I'm grateful about a lot of things. Let's talk about some fun things. Let's make some... let's just see what happens. All right. So we're going to talk about things. You're welcome to put comments in. If your first response is anger and something attacking and kind of the opposite of open, caring dialogue, I hope that you'd hear some of the things I'm sharing just of my own experiences of how closed my ears, my mind, my heart, my hands, my wallet, just closed. Ugh. I don't want to be that way. I was that way. If that's the response that's happening in your heart, oh, please hear this message. You're the one I've been praying to hear it. Because I don't know how I would have heard it before I finally crashed into rock bottom, and it took what it took to get me where I stand today, which is father of 3, 2 that are in heaven, one amazing young man, turned 21. Unfortunately, still in the process of ending our very long marriage, Lori and I. So yeah, I stand before you not at all having it all figured it out, but I have made so many mistakes. You know one thing? So I was driving back from Mississippi yesterday. It's a beautiful state to drive through, number one. I love Mississippi. A lot of butterflies, just beautiful roads. I'm just fortunate. There again, my mind just went blank. Let's just paint. I am sleepy. I don't stay up this late very often anymore. Oh, clouds are just fun, aren't they? So the other thing I want to talk about without restriction, not really that I know that much about it, but I just want to touch on the topic because I am excited about it. And that is where the world of cryptocurrency is going. So I would welcome your comments and experience. Has it been something you've even looked at all yet? Because my experience has been extraordinarily limited thus far. My background in banking and financial services and the mortgage business for a total of about 22, actually a little over 22 years. I was at big bank, and remember as Bitcoin was becoming a thing, and had a few customers in banks, different branches I'd served over the years would have come in and they'd have this stuff on their statements, with whatever. And I was like, what is this? I really didn't understand it, not at all. And it really just sort of seemed like this, kind of a shifty, and I didn't really get it. And, couldn't use those funds in the mortgage world, not at all. I mean, gracious sakes, there were all kind of strict calculations if you're using a investment account, and this is what's in it, and yada yada yada, and you got to do this calculation, so you can only use that much anyway. So very strict rules, as it should be. Proven assets, proven income. I mean, that's what the lending world, our debt-based monetary system has those regulations and type of rules and such. So you want to talk about next level, huge. When there is a shift, a change in those regulations that allowed Bitcoin to be used, and we got 2 months of 2 months of asset statements, and those were the funds they were going to turn it from Bitcoin into cash to use at closing. Man, you want to talk about mind-blowing. And I was watching that happen, had customers use funds for that, and guess how much Bitcoin I decided to get involved with, or crypto of any kind? 0. Not a bit. And so, man, if you got involved early on, 15 years ago with any crypto, whether it was involved in mining or if you started buying, I don't really understand the day trading thought, but I also don't day trade stocks. So that's just not something that would appeal to my personality. So it's just not an area that I'm going to look at. But I am just so excited about learning this crypto language. And, if you've got interest in crypto, like I said, I would love to hear your experience. First off, I said interest, I meant experience. And what'd you do? What'd you like about it? What didn't you like? Maybe shoot me a direct message or an email so we could have this kind of privately, because I really am serious about this. I'd love to know kind of what you've done, because it's just such an interesting, I think it's coming. I don't think it's going away. I don't believe all the ones that are out there are legit, and I don't believe all of them are going to stick around. I think some of them are, but that's true of any company, anything that's sort of if there's a mega successful one like Bitcoin, well, there's going to be several little knockoff ones that are just trying to, catch crumbs from the table. So that just goes with the territory. But you may have seen on some of my other social media, not tons of it, I have gotten involved in the mining piece. Very, very small, very small. This is an education for me. I do not give financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am not considering what I'm doing with crypto as an investment. I'm actually looking at it way more as, the amount I got involved with, I was comfortable with. It was $1,000. I own what we call it as a seat or mining power in the level 1 blockchain mine that is completely being built in Texas here in the U.S. I like that. I like the made in the USA label, man. I always have. I believe in the conservative Christian values that made our country the greatest in every way measure, socially, economically, militarily. In every measure the world has ever seen, no nation has ever put a democratic republic with the God of the universe and capitalism loose. And we've just been doing it for, 250 years, folks? I'd say it's worked pretty well, as bad as we've screwed it up. What do you think? The debt system of money is not sustainable. That's a math equation, folks. That is not a political statement. Our government's math says it. Doesn't matter who's in the White House or in Congress. The math is the math. So we have to look at other alternatives. That's what I'm excited about. I feel like it's still the front edge of crypto. Are there going to be scams and mistakes, and of course, yeah, there's car crashes every day. I drove my car today. I drove a lot yesterday. Tragedy strikes all the time. You want to talk about tragedy? I can relate, man. I can sit quietly with a broken heart and hear someone else's fumbling words of what they've just experienced loss in a way I couldn't before. And I tell you, it's a strange thing to look at that as a gain in the situation of Andrew's death. My son, my baby boy, he had just turned 15 in April and was dead on the bathroom floor June the 5th. Teaching him to drive. Of course, Lori was teaching him. We were all teaching him to drive. He was terrible. Probably at first. Man, I don't know if it was just those big feet. Oh my God. Oh, he was such a big kid. Oh man. 6 feet tall, 250 pounds. His shoes were 13s already. Golly. My poor old van has not been treated that way. Not in a long time. Oh, we were having fun. But oh man, it feels good to talk about him and laugh and cry. And as heartbreaking as it is, having been given the gift of some incredible people right through the darkest part of that experience of the rawness of Andrew's death and those immediate days of tragedy and just colossal explosion of your whole world. The gift of people that understand they don't have to fill the silence. Sometimes there aren't words. Those times without words is when I feel my faith. Through all of this with, the hard season period. Initially I would really kind of start beating myself up, thinking I'm being a pretty poor example of faith, of anything, of just, I felt like if I were to step outside myself and do a fair analysis of what I was looking at, I'd be seeing a person showing an example of very, very shallow, thin faith, because when the hardest times hit, I always assumed that would be when it was the deepest. What I am coming to realize about myself is that my faith, just like everything else, emotions, seasons, it's hot, it's cold, you're going fast, you're going slow. My faith does that too. And the smart people I'm choosing to listen to, and I'm so thankful that so many have been brought squarely to a point of clear influence in my life, is that that's just part of the human condition. None of us have that perfect. If you happen to read a pretty well-known big book, there was a fella and some dudes in a boat one time, pretty rowdy storm. One cat's walking on the water. The other fellas knew who he was. I'm talking about the cats in the boat. of those cats knew who he was, knew he was walking on the water, had been with him just not long before. Guess how many of those dudes got out of the boat to walk on the water? Only one of them. Gosh. I've always heard that story and given that character such grief in my head for starting to sink. I think I owe him an apology. He's the only one that got out of the boat. Which one would I have been? We all matter, or none of us matter. Say it with me. Just say it quietly to yourself. All of us, or none of us. All, or none. All. Has to be all. To me, I don't see how it can't be. And if it's all, then that includes you and me. I don't know about you, but I need to hear that pretty often. I do. I do. And I hope you do too. All. All. It's all. I've done so many long drives lately, and it keeps happening, and I hope it continues to. And I shared this on another video the other day. I don't know if you saw that one or not, but there's a clear thing happening from time to time that I am actively seeking connection, relationship, just being with my Creator. And when I am in motion and participating in that effort, it can be walking in the neighborhood, it can be walking in the house, it can be driving in the car, it can be being still and mentally in this purposeful pursuit of connection with what is making sense in my head, that has the power and ability, authority, whatever words you want to use, to create everything I have ever possibly known, thought, seen, smelled, tasted, any of those things, and the ability for me to understand part of that creation in which I am part of that creation. Blows my mind. So what I have come to realize in this pursuit, there are going to be things that are as small as the tip of a needle that I'm going to have the ability to understand. That's how magnificent this creation is. If the way I am designed in this earth suit and the limitations of this brilliant mind, it would explode. It can't process the wholeness of what's out. I'm in the creation. I can't understand the wholeness because I'm not outside of it. I mean, that's so, those things are coming when I'm actively involved in that discussion, that seeking of information. It's like this conversational stroll is occurring. Often, especially when I'm alone in the car, this is an audible conversation for me being out loud. And there are purposeful, definite times of quiet where I am waiting with expectation that guidance, answer, understanding, revelation, something will occur where the moment of waiting, the information wasn't present. And then in the next moment, that complete understanding is there. I just don't fight it anymore. And it's so freeing because it helps me know what I'm supposed to do next. Because all I want to do is participate with the plan and purpose that creator of this universe has for my little part of this whole thing. Because I don't understand the whole thing, and I don't think I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to do my part, and that part is not so grand, and I don't believe anymore. So that's just where thoughts from Dano are these days. And that happened so much on the drive to Tennessee. I was just giggling and chuckling the whole way because I just don't have to overcomplicate so many things. I do it all the time. I mean, I don't know why. But again, now I recognize it. I don't have to do it, do I? There we go. We'll just put a few mountains way off here in the distance. Just a few. Gotta have some mountains though, don't you? I love painting mountains. Sorry about the sniffles. No, I'm not. I'm not apologizing for being an emotional cat anymore. You know what? I actually welcome the rawness, the depth, the sting, the cleansing ability. I have welcomed these emotional waves for these last several months, and I hope it continues as a daily thing because, man, participating in my mental part of life, my mental experience, the incredible depth and complexity of all these emotions that are always factoring, engaging, and gyroscoping and keeping you, making decisions and all this stuff is just, man, it's incredible, and just listen. Dan, just listen more. Don't instantly react, Dan. Ask the simple questions. What am I supposed to learn from this? And what, if anything, am I to do about this? Just pausing to ask those couple little questions has helped me avoid my typical overreaction, poor reaction, emotional reaction, and just be. Not everything is a dire, sky is falling moment. Very few. Very few. So that lets me give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I can take a deep cleansing breath and say, you know what? I bet these folks, I bet their intentions are good. I'll bet you they are not trying to really whatever. You know, what if I can make my assumption that first? What if I can assume the best of you? Would that be all right? Well, I'd like you to do that for me. What I mean, well then how can I make that easier? Well, how about I act that way? How about I just treat you the way I would think is respectful and right and all those things. And I don't hate you. Let's talk about something else. Do you know how grateful I am that you know, many, many, many moons ago, I don't actually know the entirety of the tale, which is quite sad, um, of how, uh, some of our people made it this way and emigrated to the United States from the European nations, and lots of Jewish heritage and German and beliefs, Slavic. I don't know if that's the right term or not, so let me not say that. But, part of the family I know is certainly European connected, and a World War One-ish time frame. Some move over to this side of the pond, and then some Native American connection from Oklahoma many generations ago. So I don't know the numbers and such, but I am so grateful that the things that occurred in our family tree and the atrocities of the world, that those things came together in such a fashion that led to our family being here in the United States. And for me to be born in 1974 as a U.S. citizen to a United States Air Force officer and his wife, I feel like I have lived the American dream. So please don't insult me by calling me anti-immigrant. If you'd have a conversation with me, you'd find I'm probably one of the most pro-immigrant people you'll ever meet. What I am not a fan of is people that cut in line or break the rules. But I feel the same way if I'm in line in Disney World. I don't like people that jump the lines and cut. And they always do it with an arrogance and an ugliness, like, that's the same way for people breaking into our country. Do you know how insulting I think that is to the newest, naturalized American citizen who has worked their tail off to come here and learned the things about our history that our current system asks them to learn, and the pride that they get to swear the oath to defend and support the Constitution with? That is such a tremendous honor. Those breaking in line don't get to go ahead of those people. If we can't agree on those simple things, we got a problem. Because there are some fundamental things about, well, just stand in your spot in line till it's your turn that we don't agree on. And if we can't agree on those basics, then we're going to have to make some changes. And those are going to have some sting. I still don't hate you, but we're not going to keep going down the road we've been on. We can't. I mean, I think if we can have a conversation as adults, we can at least recognize the current path or at least if we turn around and look historically through the venomous rhetoric and crazy tactics and lack of civility and conversation that have led us to where this point is in the road. Because we could each cherry pick out, this was a beautiful time, this worked magically, of course. I don't want it to be that kind of conversation. This isn't a policy party issue. This is a heart issue, folks. This is, you know, there's some, there will come a time in some of our lives where the line will have to be drawn, and one will stop and go no further. I don't know about you, but I feel like I am standing at that line. I do not feel like I have advanced to this line in an aggressive, angry, threatening, bullying kind of way. I don't believe that. I don't. I feel like I have been sitting closed-lipped, watching the very basic, fundamental, good principles of the country I love so dearly being eroded and stolen. And if I squeaked, I was called names, racist, hate, homophobe, whatever. And I put up so little resistance that I've been silent. And I'm not angry at any person. I was a little disappointed in myself that it's taken to get where we are. You know, I knew very little of Charlie the Man. I had seen, maybe a half a dozen, 8 perhaps, of those short little, are those reels on Facebook. But for someone of such intelligence, and from what I have seen, to be such an example of civil dialogue, to be silenced for any reason in this country, I'm sorry, that's the last straw for me. It wouldn't have mattered if I don't know of I don't consume this type of news product other than occasional exposure to it. So if there were someone in a similar type influence level, role, knowledge level, he seems so wise. If there was someone like that on the opposite side of the aisle, with that level of mastery of the things they believe in, and were really honestly selling the principles of their convictions, man, people like that are easy to listen to and admire and respect and at least consider what they're saying, especially if it's different from what you are. Don't you dare silence that voice. The more it grates against what I think I know and believe, man, that's the voice I'm going to lean into. Why is it making me bristle? Why am I so at odds with just the words that someone might be saying? What's unsettled in me that the words they're sharing are having that impact? That has nothing to do with them. I don't hate what they're saying. What a gift they're giving me on a perspective that I couldn't see before. I could only see from where I was standing. I need the other opinion so I can see outside of the little part that Dan can see. Man, Just man. What's going on in your world? What are you passionate about? You paint? That's cool. I'd love it if more of our subscribers would share whatever you're into if you'd like to. You can certainly email me that. danwillcoxart@gmail.com is an easy one to email. I really would dig seeing what you're into. Here I am holding 3 brushes in one hand again. Don't pick up my palette, so I pick up a bunch of brushes. The whole point of not holding my palette is to hold less stuff in my hands. Oh, that's just kind of funny to me. Guess we should crack ourselves up. I do. I laugh at myself all the time. Just don't want a lot of detail yet. That's all. Not much detail. Let's see, what are we going to do with this one? Let me just peek at the viewfinder real quick and decide how we're going to finish this one up. I got to tell you, I'm getting sleepy. I am finding the emotional journey of these mental conversations are beautifully deep, and it's just really nice to slow my brain down and not just be waiting for my turn to talk. Purposeful listening. I mean, how shameful is it that that's a new thing for me? I mean, it's a little embarrassing, quite frankly. What if we put a little pond back here? I just want to have some water and kind of decide what we're doing here. So, all right, that's what we'll do. Little pond over there. Just a little frozen pond. It don't hurt nobody. One little pond way back there. Way back there. Let's get us a big old tree on over here. Some trees or something. I don't know. What are we going to do? Just let the painting develop, Dan. Don't overthink it. Just go for it. What are we going to do? Ooh, I like the way that cloud looks. I want to put a tree right there. So, guess what? You have something like that happen? Don't fight it. Go for it. Put that tree there. If that's where it hit you, your brain knew it, man. What if that was just information delivered to you that you're supposed to put that tree there? Change how you approach what you might do with that tree? I'm pretty sure that would become, for me, a tree I couldn't make a mistake with. That's a pretty freeing place to be, Thunder D. I like happy trees. So beautiful. So beautiful. 3 brushes in my left hand again. We'll give ourselves a little tree trunk action. Who doesn't like a little tree trunk? Tree trunk in, tree trunk in. Just a wee bit, just a wee bit. Don't need tons. Don't need tons, do we? We do need some highlight, though. Definitely need some highlight. I learned a little skill. While you got your highlight brush nice and clean, go ahead and move out some extra liquid white. Seems kind of obvious at this point, doesn't it? But not until it is. See? Until the information is present, the information is not known. What? Dan, you're not allowed to say common sense things like that. We don't do that anymore around here. If we're not going crazy, we ain't going. You relate to that at all? I feel like that's what we're watching our country. I watched myself do it for a long time. My goodness. Watch, looking back, the videos I have in my head, my active drinking days, are just... It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe I willingly participated. I mean, that's not a fun one to sleep with for a long time, of the reality of my choices, you know. A lot of amends that I hope to be able to share. And anyway, I certainly don't have all the answers yet, but I am enjoying the hunt. Enjoying the hunt. Oh, I've outfoxed myself again. In getting ready for a class, I have moved all of my paper towels out in the garage, loaded for Friday and Saturday. Staged for Friday and Saturday. We'll get them back. Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry. Don't you worry at all. Not even a little. We'll have a nice old hill there like that. We'll have some more trees. Who doesn't love more trees? Nobody I want to know. let's have a tree that kind of bookends this little area here for us. Pow, pow, pow. All right. That was so much fun. Let's have a bigger one. A little more. Tree trunk visible in this one if we want. Helps it feel a little bit closer. Helps me feel a little bit more thirsty. So I'm going to have a little bit of water. You know what I found I like? The little grape squirt flavor. The Walmart brand one, believe it or not. It's just very, very subtle. My taste is still messed up from COVID. I didn't know if I had mentioned that in a while or not, but unfortunately that is the case. So that's a little challenging still, but hey, I sure enjoy the few tastes that I get of things. Sure do. Delicious. Took myself to a barbecue place because I've not been cooking at all, which is a shame. I love to cook, but I have kind of just been holed up, to be honest with you. I've been doing a good job, thankfully. Some friends and great folks from my support groups have kind of helped me do a few things. I haven't been great at getting out, but doing a few things. So tonight, I took myself to a yummy barbecue place because I've not eaten a hot, homemade kind of meal in quite a while. I certainly haven't cooked here at the house, and I just don't want to make the mess. I don't have the energy. I'm not going to make the grocery list. I mean, I got 1,000 excuses for this, that, and the other, but whatever. I didn't do it. Hadn't been to hadn't made a real meal, hadn't taken myself out for quite some time. Got to go out with Mom and Dave and Nick on Friday night. And Nikki, we had a great, real nice dinner at a sushi place up in Fort Walton Beach, but I mean, here in Ocala and, that sort of thing. And I went to Pig and Cattle, and I had the salad bar one trip, and also had a barbecue piece of chicken leg and a barbecue thigh, and they were so good. I had a couple of their different barbecue sauces that I probably normally wouldn't. I mean, I'm a pretty classic kind of Sweet Baby Ray or Sonny's sweet sauce as far as barbecue sauce goes. So, man, I really enjoyed it. A little bit more of a zippy tang. All right, where are we going to finish this bad boy off? What do you think? What if we sneak in a few little rocks, little things under the snow, maybe? Just put in something of interest, down there. Maybe we'll use brown. We'll make it look like I don't know what it'll look like. Stone, something brown, dirt, who knows? So we'll give ourselves a little rock lives, right here. Maybe that'll just go right there. Maybe we'll have another one. Oh, why not? We'll have one right here. Let's darken that up a little bit so we change the flavor. Oh, there we go. Shifting into teacher mode again. See how that just happens? I can't help it. It just sort of does. I'm going to do my best, though, because it is important to me. I want you to know my opinions are mine. Do not mishear that. So, we're talking social issues or I'm asking questions. I want you to hear the attitude I'm bringing it with. I am not trying to convince you of my point of view. I will share with you and get emphatic and excited and care, hey, I got my opinions like anybody else and reasons I think what I think and all that. So this is a space to have that debate, though, or that kind of discussion. Be empowered. Don't. We're not going to call names, though. We're not going to lose the ability to have this conversation. If that's your intention, is to silence it through violence or just straight up shouting, you will meet with such fierce resistance of restraint. Because again, I'm not advancing to this line, but the line is here, and I'll hold that line with resistance. So I hope that message is clear, but I don't really care if it is or not, because that's the way I'm bringing it to the table. If you're that far in and we're not at least having dialogue, I think we've missed it, don't you? And that's okay. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Because I don't hate you, whether you're listening or not. That's the best part. I love you. I really, really do. And I hope you're happy. Whatever that means in your world. When you really wish that for other people. It's made my heart smile. I didn't used to do that. Not really much at all, I wouldn't think. I might give it lip service. But let's have a couple little frozen bushes on the side, and let's leave this one quietly to just be a little understated. My friend Tim was larger than life when it came to personality gifting. He would. I hope you've had people in your life that they're thermostats. They change the temperature of the people around them and the rooms that they're in. Some people are thermometers. They just report the weather of what's happening around them. And that's fine. We need, world has got to have both, I guess. But if you've had a person like my friend Tim in your life that is a thermostat and changes people's countenance just by being in the room, you are a gifted person indeed. And I hope they have been a treasure in your life in miraculous ways. I certainly do. You won't see most of these. We're going to put some great highlights on this. Shush. Did it again, didn't I? Where'd my highlight go? There it is, in my hand. Let's get ready to rumble and wrap this one up. Okay. We may or may not still try to figure out how to give away paintings. That's so secondary anymore. Like I said, if you want painting supplies, I need you to be an adult as a consumer. Go to the website. You need a hand. Ask questions. We'll get it sorted out. It's easy to do. We'll get it to you very quickly. It's the right stuff. No problem. But I don't care. I'm tired of trying to figure out how to have something of value on here. And I started painting because I fell in love with it. I make a few bucks off of teaching classes. I appreciate everybody who's subscribing on YouTube. And if I understand the last notes I was included on from our IT department, thankfully they are smart enough to just pat me on the head and keep me out of the trouble zone for myself. But they say, well, probably in a small way, monetize from YouTube near the end of the year, maybe first quarter. Well, that's exciting. But simply for the fact, I want people to enjoy what they're seeing. You know, I'm choosing to speak out, and I want to ask questions. I want to ask questions and have conversation without all of this, me selling you on my person or my policy, this, that. No, 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 no. Please, we got enough of that. I'm not trying, I don't want to try to win your, I want to learn. I don't care about changing your mind. I don't really want you to care about changing mine. It seems healthier that we've got to get to this place where we don't have to be of the same train of thought, and that can be fine. You know, if I have such a great set of pillars and bedrock of my life, then shouldn't the evidence of that be in what my life has become, or the fruit, if you want to call it that, if you look at whatever measure you choose to measure that by? Well, that's the same way I'd look at someone else's. If they're trying to sell me their bill of goods, shut your mouth, person. Show it to me. Don't tell me. Show it to me. Either by example in how great of success and family thriving and this, that, or that. I'm not talking about a perfect utopia. You know, your turds don't even stink. Come on, folks. We live on a broken planet where eventually the lights will run out, or, something's going to happen, right? So nobody's got it all together. Let's cut that out of the equation as well. So show me. If your way's better, I'll want it. I'll want to model it. Look at which way the flow of people comes to our country still, folks. I'm pretty sure the flow is in. That means something good is happening here. Well, guess what? Bring the best of where you're coming from and leave the crap behind. Everywhere I have gone, I have been. Every one of my problems, I refused to acknowledge, admit, even remotely confront or entertain the thought that it was my doing. Went right with me wherever I went. And I turned whatever the new thing I had gone on to into the same crap I had done before. Can you relate to that at all? I can point to a few examples if you've never experienced that. I've done that at least a few times in my life I can think of. So, okay, I think we need one more tree and we're going to say goodnight because I love this painting and I just want to look at it and be done. Let's have a big old off the canvas kind of beauty. I like to do them if they go off the canvas, they go off the canvas. Makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. I feel good. I feel sleepy. Yes, I do. A little bit of snow pulled out there, and we're going to sign this one and say nighty night. Oh, good night. Old man Dan is sleepy. Gonna go to bed. But a few snowy things Write down what he said. Got to step back one more time. That bright light, I can't see it. So, holy Moses, an hour and 25 minutes long. How'd I do being quiet? Not so good, not so good, not so good. Let's have a little paint thinner. A little bright red. Oh. I hope wherever you're watching, you're having or have had a great day. I hope you know you're loved because you exist, not because of anything you have done. Same for me. Now I'm going to try to remember that I believe that all of us matter, which means I matter and you matter. I love you. I appreciate your comments for videos and for people who put content on YouTube. It is a big deal for you to hit subscribe, to hit like, to put a comment, and to share it. Feels like a lot of hoops, but compared to digging a ditch or really hard labor, not really too hard, especially if you're enjoying it. You get to know that you're helping out the person who's producing the content you're enjoying, and ultimately, hopefully put a few coins in their pocket as they go. We'll see you later. I love you. Dano out.